Welcome to the Memorizing Pharmacology podcast. I'm Tony Guerra, the pharmacist and author of the Memorizing Pharmacology book series, bringing you mnemonics, cases, and advice for succeeding in pharmacology. Sign up for the email list at memorizingpharm.com to get your free suffixes cheat sheet or find our mobile-friendly, self-paced online pharmacology review course at residency.teachable.com/p/mobile. Let's get started with the show. All right, this is a question that comes up a lot, which is, how do I figure out what my final exam grade needs to be or for me to pass the class? And it depends on a couple of factors. What your bar is, so do you need to pass with an 85? Do you need to pass with an 80? Do you need to pass with a 75? Is a 73 passing, like a C minus? So what is needed to pass is the required passing grade. That's second. Okay, so first we'll calculate what your final exam grade that we need is, and then we'll figure out, we first need to know what is the required passing grade. And this is usually set by your program, okay? Then you want to know the final exam grade as a percent. So what we're saying is final exam, let's do weight percent as a decimal. So if your final exam is 30%, you want to put 0.30. If your final exam is 20%, then put 20, okay? And so on. The last one is, what is your current grade? So the current grade is going to be the opposite of, the final exam weight, and we just need that as a number. Okay, so here's the equation itself. The final exam grade needed is equal to the required passing grade minus, open parentheses, 1 minus the final exam weight as a percent. And we'll put this as a W instead. I think that's going to be easier to use. Okay, and then we're going to multiply that number times the current grade, okay? And we're going to divide again by the final exam weight. So what does this look like in practice? So we're saying that our final exam grade needed is going to be, we're going to call our required passing grade a 77. We're going to say our final exam weight is 0.30. And we're going to say that our current grade is 100%. That's the best you can possibly do. So 77 minus 70 divided by 0.3 ends up being 7 divided by 0.3. This person who has 100% in the class going into the final just needs 23%. So if there's 4 questions on multiple choice, it literally probability would say that if they picked all C, they should pass with the final. But what might be is that you are actually below the line. So let's say right now instead you have a 70 in the class. Can you still pass the class? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, so what we do is we put in our required grade. Again, we're just using 77 as a number, which is a C plus or close to it. 1 minus the FP, so again, or FW is what we decided to use. So the final exam weight of 30% is going to be a 0.3. Okay, and that gives us 0.7. And then we multiply times the current grade, and we're just saying you have a C minus, 70. And then we end up with 49 over 0.3, our final exam weight. So total, you would need 28 out of 0.3, or a 93% to get a 77. So in this case, it actually helps you that the final exam is worth so much because it means that it's still mathematically possible for you to pass the class. Where it becomes mathematically impossible to pass the class is right around 67 for something like this. And we can do that calculation as well. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of copy this guy here and go copy, and then we'll bring this down. We'll paste, okay? And we're just going to change our numbers here to say that you actually have a 67 in the class, okay? So 0.3 would be 7 times 0.67 and we do clear 0.7 times 67 equals 46.9. Okay, and then 77 minus 46.9 equals 30.1. Okay, and so that's a bad thing, because if you are at 30.1 divided by 0.3, you're actually going to need probably 100 and a little bit more. Okay, divided by 0.3 equals 100.33. So it's not possible. So that's also a valuable lesson, is if there's a course where you cannot pass, and you're past the drop date or whatever date, then you probably want to put your energies into the courses that you can pass, and to pass them as well as you can. Now, it's a little bit weird in some programs. It's better to get, for example, all B's than all A's and an F, because, or whatever an F would be below that 77 mark, because then you move on to the next semester without any repeated classes. So hopefully this calculator helps you understand what you need, whether you're getting a perfect score, whether you're a little bit behind, or to know, what, mathematically it's unfortunately not possible at that standard. And then if you want to change it, all you do is just change the numbers around. So let's say at your school the passing is 85 instead of 77. It would be 85 minus, open parentheses, 1 minus 0.3 times your current grade, right, over 0.3, assuming that 30% is your final exam. So again, it's very flexible. You can change it however you need, but the idea is to be able to go into the final exam knowing exactly where you stand in every class, so that you can better divide your time, so that you make sure that you spend the most time on the classes that you're a little bit behind, and a little bit less time on classes that you're way ahead. Thanks for listening to the Memorizing Pharmacology podcast. You can find episodes, cheat sheets, and more at memorizingpharm.com. Again, you can sign up for the email list at memorizingpharm.com to get your free suffixes cheat sheet, or find our mobile-friendly, self-paced online pharmacology review course at residency.teachable.com/p/mobile. Thanks again for listening.